Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge gives the "Let's win first" war cry, rebuffs Mamata Banerjee and Arvind Kejriwal's proposal to project him as opposition's MP face at the India bloc meeting. Bloc announces a nationwide agitation on MP suspension on the last day of winter session. Record number of suspensions in the parliament. 49 more members of parliament suspended, taking the total to 141. Opposition continues protest, pushes for Union Home Minister's statement on the floor of the House. With two-thirds of opposition MPs missing in parliament, government introduces key bills, including the criminal amendment bills, the contentious 3 bills to replace the existing criminal laws in the country. Massive rescue operations in Tamil Nadu as heavy rains lash southern part of the state. Thudukudi and Tirunelveli worst affected. Over 10,000 people rescued by the administration and moved to safe zones. Power and internet snapped in multiple areas. This is the last word, and I'm Marya Shakil. A new and unfortunate record in the new Parliament of India. 141 opposition MPs have been suspended in the last few days. The spree of suspensions began last week. After 79 opposition MPs were suspended from the parliament yesterday, as many as 49 members face the same action today. The Alliance has 142 MPs in the 543-member Lok Sabha, of which 95 have now been suspended. It has 101 MPs in the 250-member upper house. Of these, 46 have been suspended. The opposition has now been reduced to 1/3 of its total strength. With just 3 days left for the winter session of Parliament to end, there appears to be total logjam, with both sides adamant on their positions. The government will continue to finish its unfinished agenda, and the remaining opposition MPs will continue with their demand for a statement from the Home Minister on the security breach on 13th December. We have an all-MPs panel on the show tonight, but first let me bring in Raghav Chadha, Member of Parliament of the Aam Aadmi Party. Mr. Chadha, I appreciate your time. This has been a record-breaking standoff with the kind of suspensions that we have seen. Is there belligerence on both the sides?
Well, first of all, Marya, let me say this in no uncertain terms, that this is not merely suspension of a few MPs. This is suspension of India's democracy. And today you witness scenes in both chambers, both in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, that draconian laws, bills that have far-reaching consequences on the lives and livelihoods of people being rushed through without a voice from the opposition. And what is the demand of the opposition? What is essentially all the non-NDA political parties saying? They are saying that the Indian Parliament is by far the most secure building in the country. It had a security breach. We want the government to give a statement followed by a short duration discussion on the issue. This whole thing could have been sorted in a couple of hours. The people who sit in those chambers, like all of us, are worried about not just our security. We are worried about the security of the senior most functionaries of this government. The Prime Minister sits in that chamber, the Home Minister sits in that chamber, the Vice President of India sits in that chamber. We are worried about everyone's security. And if the Indian Parliament is not safe, then which part of India is safe? And look at the irony. The BJP member of Parliament that facilitated and sponsored the entry of the 2 intruders, who then subsequently breached the security and jumped into the chamber, that BJP MP has not been suspended or expelled. His membership is not even in question.
Mr. Chadha,
but MPs who have been demanding an investigation and a statement by the government have been suspended. That's the irony.
Mr. Chadha, the Lok Sabha Speaker in his letter to MPs clearly said that the suspension is not really linked to them asking questions with regards to the security breach. It has more to do with their unruly conduct. Those were his words. And the MPs are in the well of the House. They are carrying placards. There is sloganeering. The new parliament was to be about discussion, debates, and the opposition has been pretty belligerent.
Look, almost for the first 2 weeks of this winter session, both houses Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha functioned perfectly well, despite the government running away from several important questions being raised by the opposition. For 2 long weeks, the parliament functioned perfectly and government business was transacted. It is only after the security breach on the anniversary of the 2001 parliament attack that all of us got worried, and we are seeking a response from the government. If there is one person that is actually disrupting this house or doesn't want the opposition to be present in the chamber, it's the government. They are following a rule of suspend, throw out and bulldoze. Today I'm told, I've not checked the figures, but I'm told that critical legislation has been passed in the Lok Sabha without a proper discussion and dialogue. I mean, what have we reduced democracy to? It feels, as not just as a member of parliament, as an Indian, I feel that it is BJP's agenda to demolish every institution that represents government accountability or democracy in this country.
So let's talk about the other meeting of which you were a part. Arvind Kejriwal and you were part of the India bloc meeting which happened. There was this proposal which was made for projecting Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge as the face of the India bloc. He has said, let's win the elections first and then thereafter look at it. Wouldn't that be a fair assessment? Because if you look at any kind of presidential contest between Prime Minister Modi and whosoever, will not be really a fair context because of his popularity, and any form of post-poll alliance is certainly workable.
Well, first of all, what the alliance finally decides is something we will know in the coming days. Currently, this is only a conversation that certainly happened. Ms. Banerjee and Mr. Kejriwal both mooted a discussion. They proposed the idea, and subsequently this idea will be discussed and a decision will be arrived at. But I personally feel, as somebody who works very, very closely with Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge in the Rajya Sabha, because he's the leader of the opposition and we sit in the opposition, that he's a great political luminary, a social reformer, and somebody who's risen from the grassroots. He comes from very humble backgrounds and has had a very traumatic childhood. He lost several members of his family to communal violence at a very young age. And from a block level leader of the Congress party to becoming the president of the Congress party, and today, of course, the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, he has held several responsibilities and quite successfully. He's a 9-time MLA, consecutive 9 times from the same seat, 2-time Lok Sabha MP, 1-time Rajya Sabha MP. I think he has all the credentials to take this country forward.
All right. My last question to you, because this pertains to Punjab. The Aam Aadmi Party has been insisting that they should be contesting on all seats, the Lok Sabha seats in Punjab. Any kind of seat sharing talks will happen only at the state level. My question then is that will AAP be open to seat sharing talks with the Congress party, and what if it really doesn't settle the way you are hoping for?
Well, I think it's only fair, Marya, that me and my party comment on seat sharing post, some decisions have been arrived at. Currently, conversations within the alliance have started on these lines. Hectic parleys will take place. Facts, figures, numbers will be discussed, and in a very, amicable environment, I'm sure that seat sharing equations and arrangements of the entire country, from why just Punjab and Delhi, why not Gujarat, UP, Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, all these states will certainly be discussed and announced. And once we have a ready solution before us, it's only fair that I comment on it then.
All right, we'll wait for that then. Raghav Chadda, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have Dr. Ami Ben Yagnik, suspended Congress MP. We have Lahar Singh Siroya, Member of Parliament of the BJP, and Girdhar Yadav, suspended JDU MP. But first up, here's what happened in Parliament today.
मेरा आग्रह आपसे कि आप चर्चा करें, संवाद करें.
I appeal to you to please take your seats.
Another day of an unprecedented showdown in Parliament, with more suspensions of opposition MPs from both houses.
Honorable members,
वाली घटना
49 more opposition MPs were suspended from the Lok Sabha on Tuesday, taking the total from the lower house to 95 opposition members. 46 opposition members have been suspended from the Rajya Sabha, with 11 on Tuesday after 34 on Monday and 1 earlier in the session. In total, 141 opposition members stand suspended.
I strongly condemn this.
Tuesday's suspensions included Shashi Tharoor, Manish Tiwari, Farooq Abdullah, Dimple Yadav, among others.
It's clear they want an opposition मुक्त लोक सभा.
सरकार चर्चा नहीं करना चाहिए, भाग रही है.
तो क्या हो जाता अगर वो 5 मिनट आते और कहते जनाब ये हो गया है, हम इस पे कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं और क्या कर रहे हैं?
The opposition MPs have been protesting in both houses of parliament over the massive security breach in Lok Sabha last week. They have been demanding that Union Home Minister Amit Shah addresses the parliament on the security failure. The government says the parliament security is under the Lok Sabha Secretariat and its responsibility lies with the speaker.
जो अवरोध पैदा कर रहे हैं ये उनकी हताशा है 3 प्रदेशों में हार के कारण.
As the MPs protested outside Parliament after the suspensions, this mockery of Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar by TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee triggered another row. Congress MP Rahul Gandhi was seen making a video as Banerjee mimicked Dhankar's demeanor as other MPs laughed and cheered. Inside the house, Chairman Dhankar called the TMC MP's act shameful and unacceptable while taking a dig at Rahul Gandhi.
आपके एक बड़े नेता एक सांसद के असंसदीय व्यवहार को वीडियो कर रहे थे. हाउ शेमफुल, हाउ अनएक्सेप्टेबल.
खरगे जी से आग्रह करता हूं कि इसके बारे में आपको माफी मांगना चाहिए.
With the majority of opposition MPs being suspended and nobody in the house to protest, the government seems all set to pass crucial legislation that it's been listed, including the critical and important criminal law amendment bills in the current session before it is adjourned sine die.
Before this barrage of suspensions in 2 days, the highest number of suspensions were in 1989 when 63 MPs were suspended from the Lok Sabha after a report on Indira Gandhi's assassination was tabled in the House. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister then. Bureau Report, NDTV.
लहर सिंह जी, सवाल मेरा आपसे ये है कि कितना कोशिश किया था सरकार ने हाउस चलाने का, उसके बाद फिर सस्पेंशन होता था, आदमी समझ भी सकता था. 141 suspensions, it has never happened in India's parliamentary history.
आपकी आवाज थोड़ी कम आ रही है मेरे को. मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
जी, हम आपकी आवाज फिक्स कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर आपने मेरा सवाल सुना है, हाउस कितना सरकार ने चलाने की कोशिश की थी?
देखिए, सरकार शुरू से ही ईमानदार रही है चलाने में. और जहां तक गृह मंत्री के बयान का सवाल है, तो गृह मंत्री आधे अधूरे तथ्यों के आधार पर संसद में और जनता के सामने नहीं आ सकते. जांच, गहन जांच चल रही है और जैसे ही जांच पूरी होगी, पूरा खुलासा माननीय गृह मंत्री जी संसद में और बाहर भी करेंगे. एक बात, और कांग्रेस जो है इस तीनों राज्यों में जो करारी हार की वजह से कांग्रेस संभल नहीं पा रही है और कांग्रेस को हार पचा नहीं पा रही है. कांग्रेस को समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि क्या करें. जहां तक सदन नहीं चलने देने की बात है, तो ये हीट एंड रन वाली बात है. उन्होंने कभी अडानी के मुद्दे को लेकर के, कभी मणिपुर को लेकर के, कभी ईडी के मुद्दों को लेकर के. ईडी के लिए कितना उन्होंने आंदोलन किया था, क्योंकि राहुल गांधी परिवार पर ईडी का पूछताछ चल रही थी, तो पूरा 20 दिन तक संसद नहीं चलने दिया. कितनी शर्मनाक और दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात है. मैं इस बातों को ज्यादा नहीं विस्तार में जाके एक और बात बताना चाहूंगा. कल जब मैं आदरणीय देवेगौड़ा जी के साथ बैठा था, देवेगौड़ा जी कुछ स्पेशल मेंस के लिए कुछ कर्नाटक की समस्या को लेकर के आए थे. वो इस 92 वर्ष की उम्र में बिना खाए पिए वहां बैठे रहे और इंतजार करते रहे कब उनका नंबर आएगा, लेकिन नंबर नहीं आया. मैं यही वेदना मैं खरगे जी की भी समझता हूं. खरगे जी को ट्रैप कर दिया गया है और खरगे जी उनका कार्यकाल सफल नहीं रहे, क्योंकि कांग्रेस की चॉइस खरगे जी कभी नहीं रहे थे पहली चॉइस. तो जब खरगे जी को उनको मजबूरी में बनाना पड़ा, तो खरगे जी कभी
is there more an act of a desperate Congress which has lost recent elections and you were looking for an issue, you found one. And
पूरी बात
particularly
करें तो
what
अच्छा
is
रहेगा।
being
मुझे
condemned here is that Rahul Gandhi was seen filming the mimicry or the act that was being done by the TMC MP outside Parliament.
ये बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण रहा।
Amiben Yagnik.
अच्छा जी।
Marya, when an incident of the two boys jumping in the Lok Sabha from the gallery into the house and smoke coming out and such a security breach, if the honorable members of parliament want the honorable Home Minister to come and make a statement why there is such a breach of safety and security when this particular building, which is the Temple of Democracy, is considered to be the safest, and most of the country is represented here by the representatives, and not a statement coming out from the Honorable Union Home Minister. Is it not fair that the members of Parliament, whether it is one or all the members of Parliament sitting there in the opposition, ask that why is not the Home Minister coming and making a statement? He is not the investigating agency himself that he has to inquire, investigate, and then come up with a report. He just has to come and make a statement and tell the Honorable the members of the Parliament that yes, there has been a breach. We are looking into it. But the moment you have asked for that, he doesn't want to come. You have seen before the adamancy of the ruling dispensation, whenever there is a request from the members of Parliament, it is never complied with. It was Manipur. We went on asking that the Prime Minister or the Honorable Prime Minister should come and make a statement. What's happening? You saw the viral videos that had gone. What about women's safety and security? It did not come. We went on asking, we went on filing the notices which are required under law, under the rules of the Parliament procedures, but those notices were never entertained. And so whenever any member of Parliament from the opposition requests for a discussion, requests for an answer, the accountability flies out of the window. Okay. They just don't want to come. They don't want to follow democratic.
I ask that question to Leher Singh, that is the government running away from discussion, as is the charge coming from the opposition parties. गिरधर यादव जी, मैं आपसे सवाल ये पूछूंगी कि ये क्या ऑपोजिशन एमपीज थोड़ा पेशेंटली हाउस में हैंडल कर सकते थे? नया संसद है, इसमें नए तौर तरीके हो सकते हैं, इस तरह का प्लकार्ड दिखाना और बाहर में वाइस प्रेसिडेंट का मजाक उड़ाना सही है क्या?
आपको हम बता रहे हैं 141 एमपी को इन्होंने सस्पेंड किया। 141 एमपी के पास प्ले कार्ड नहीं था, मुश्किल से 20, 30, 25 के पास प्ले कार्ड होगा। ये नया संसद भवन बनाया है, तो नया संसद भवन में ने सुरक्षा को मजबूत क्यों नहीं किया? और दूसरी बात, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के माननीय सांसद कह रहे थे कि सम्मान्य गृह मंत्री जी कैसे बयान देंगे आधे उधर। प्रधानमंत्री जी तो बाहर में बयान दे ही रहे मीडिया में। सम्मान्य प्रधानमंत्री ने मीडिया में इन सारी बातों को रखा। वो इस देश के लोकतंत्र में लोकसभा और राज्यसभा की महत्ता खत्म करने का प्रयास आरएसएस और भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर रही है। जब हाउस सेशन में है तो सम्मान्य प्रधानमंत्री, सम्मान्य गृह मंत्री को बाहर बयान नहीं देके लोकसभा और राज्यसभा के अंदर देना चाहिए, और उन्होंने नहीं दिया। और जितना ये लोग प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि कैसे लोकतंत्र को समाप्त किया जाए, विपक्ष की आवाज़ को दबाया जाए, लोकतंत्र की हत्या की जाए, इसी प्रयास में लगे हुए। और जो नया संसद भवन इन्होंने बनाया, कुछ संसद भवन ये गोल घर है, पटना में एक गोल घर है, उसी तरह एक गोल घर बना दिए। जब गोल घर में घुस गया आतंकवादी, ये तो कहते हैं बाकी गुलामी का प्रतीक है, ये इनके आजादी के बाद इन्होंने बनाया, उसके बाद घुस गया।
गिरधर जी, इस पे
बता दीजिए कितना मजबूत व्यवस्था के बाद कैसे
है, लेकिन क्योंकि ये बहुत ही सेंसिटिव इशू है तो उस पर इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रही है। डीजी सीआरपीएफ जब अपना पूरा रिपोर्ट सबमिट करेंगे तब लोकसभा स्पीकर सबको बता देंगे। कुछ दिनों की बात है, इंतजार क्यों नहीं कर सकते हैं सांसद?
सम्मान्य प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अभी दैनिक जागरण के बयान जो प्रेस किया था उसमें पूरी बात को रखा, नहीं रखना चाहिए था ना। आधा अधूरा बात ये भी करते हैं, वहां रख रहे हैं सम्मान्य प्रधानमंत्री, हाउस में नहीं बोल रहे हैं। ये तो इनका दोहरा चरित्र है ना। आरएसएस और बीजेपी का दोहरा सदस्यता भी है और इन लोगों का दोहरा चरित्र भी है।
लेयर सिंह, यू हर्ड फ्रॉम द एमपीज, एक ये भी कहा जा रहा है,
मैंने पूरा सुना है, मैं पूरा
मेरा सवाल सुन लीजिए। ये भी कहा जा रहा है कि ये 141 एमपी सस्पेंड नहीं हुए हैं, पार्लियामेंट के प्रोसीजर्स और प्रोसेसेस को सस्पेंड किया है सरकार ने, डेमोक्रेसी को सस्पेंड।
देखिए, ये अंतिम कदम चेयरमैन को और स्पीकर महोदय को बहुत मजबूरी में उठाना पड़ा है। मैं आपको फिर याद दिलाना चाहता हूं कि कल मेरी चिदम्बरम जी से भी बात हो रही थी, तिरुचि शिवा वगैरह जैसे कई लोग अच्छे पार्लियामेंटेरियन हैं, सब चर्चा चाहते हैं, लेकिन विपक्षी दलों की राजनीति कुछ ऐसे लोगों के हाथ में आ गई है जो नारेबाजी में विश्वास करते हैं, अराजकता फैलाने में विश्वास करते हैं। उन्होंने पार्टी को कैप्चर कर लिया है और खड़गे जी को लाचार कर दिया है। दिग्विजय सिंह सब लाचारगी से बैठे देखते रहते हैं, कुछ कर नहीं पाते हैं, क्योंकि कुछ ऐसे लोग तत्व उनको हैंडल कर रहे हैं कि शिव मोटो कुछ खड़गे जी बोले उसके पहले उनके कुछ जो नाम नहीं लेना चाहूंगा, कुछ जो पार्टी के दूसरे लोग हैं जो राहुल गांधी जी के इशारे पर चलते हैं, वो शिव मोटो कुछ न कुछ कह देते हैं। ये संसद नहीं देने चलने के पीछे
सब इंडिया पार्टीज के भी एमपीज थे। आप तो ये नहीं बोलेंगे ना कि टीएमसी के जो एमपीज हैं वो भी राहुल गांधी के इशारे पे काम कर रहे हैं?
देखिए, सब कुछ एक साथ गुट बन चुका है। सब पार्टी के दो तीन लोग हैं जो नेगेटिव राजनीति करते आ रहे हैं। 2 वर्षों से मैं लगातार संसद में देख रहा हूं, हर बात पर जैसे ईडी का मुद्दा उठाकर 15-20 दिन संसद नहीं चलने दी, अगले अधिवेशन में ईडी का मुद्दा गायब था और अडानी लेके आ गए, फिर अगले संसद में मणिपुर लेके आ गए। तो उनको कोई बहाना चाहिए, क्योंकि विपक्ष के पास तैयारी नहीं है, आइडिया नहीं है, सुझाव नहीं है, और सरकार को
multiple sessions of parliament was suspended. The parliament did not function in the from 2014 to 2019. At that time, Rahul Gandhi had raised the issue of Rafale. You went into elections with that issue as well, and we know what happened. It did not really, click with the public on ground because they were looking at much more substantive issues. Again, is this an issue that you think you can take to the people of this country?
See, this issue pertains to the people of this country because this country believes in a democracy. The democratic processes have to be followed, whether they are any system, whether it's administrative system, legislative system, or the executive. And that is why when we are in a democracy, we have to follow the rules. And in that rules, there is accountability. And if that accountability is not to be given by the ruling dispensation under whatever pretext, everything to be blamed on the opposition leaders. And I'm very, very surprised that a senior person is talking about there is Gutbaji and 2 persons are listening and 3 persons are listening. I think everything is being shown on, is being aired, and you should see that everyone was requesting the honorable chairperson to give a chance to the leader of opposition to make his submission on behalf of all the opposition parties. What is this kind of, understanding which is being told on the television? I think that rule, under the rule which the notices were given, none of the notices were entertained. Under what subject the notices were given, that subject was not mentioned by the honorable the chairperson. And that is why everyone said that from their own seats that, sir, please hear us. And if not hear us, please hear the leader of opposition. So what is wrong if we ask for the fair share in the democratic processes?
Absolutely.
Why it is that only one side should be heard, and
yes.
Why is the BJP silent
now
on how they know?
One minute.
One minute.
Yes, okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Why is the BJP not telling that the last session they got up at 11 o'clock sharp and disturbed the session and did not allow the house to function? Okay. That cannot be some kind of a selective way of putting
okay,
points
so it's
forward.
outrage versus outrage, and pretty adamant position.
No, it is a request. It is a request to follow the democratic processes of the country.
Brute majority in both the houses of parliament. Could there have been magnanimity shown by the government? Why suspend MPs? I'll remind you of history, sir. When last time, 1989, when MPs were suspended, the suspension was revoked a day later. And it was business as usual. MPs returned after they apologized. Here, you have suspended them, and there is no sign for even them to go for any kind of redressal or review.
देखिए, संसद में मैं नया आया हूं, लेकिन जितने मैं जानता हूं कि संसद में हमेशा परंपरा रही है कि क्वेश्चन आवर के बाद ही कोई इश्यू उठाए जा सकते हैं, और हर बार ये रहा है कि सरकार ने कहा है मणिपुर वाले मामले पर भी हम बयान देने को तैयार है क्वेश्चन आवर के बाद में, क्योंकि हम ये परंपरा तोड़ना नहीं चाहते। क्वेश्चन आवर जो है पूरे देश के से जो एमपी आते हैं उनका एक हक बनता है कि सरकार को प्रश्न पूछने का, लेकिन कांग्रेस बहुत कंफ्यूज्ड है और कांग्रेस को इस बारे में कुछ मालूम नहीं पड़ रहा है क्या होना चाहिए।
सांसद नहीं है तो आप लोग फिर चला लें 3 दिन, जो भी बिल्स है वो पास करवा सकते हैं आप।
नहीं ये मुझे बहुत अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है। डिबेट होनी चाहिए थी। हम चिदम्बरम जी जैसे को, तिरुचि शिवा जैसे लोगों को, जो अच्छे अच्छे विद्वान लोग हैं, उनका इन पर चर्चा में सुनना चाहते थे हम। लेकिन ये जो जिस तरह से कांग्रेस और जो विपक्षी दल, एक और बात बताऊं आपको, ये जो परसों जो घटना हुई है उसके पीछे मैं बताऊं आपको कि ये कुछ राजनीति में कुछ अर्बन नक्सलवादी तत्व जुड़ गए हैं जो मैसूर से आसपास में है।
सुनिए, of course we'll see what happens in parliament tomorrow. 3 more days for this session to end. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.